Justice. We're going to talk about guillotines mostly. You've got to contextualize it so that we're talking about either that you got shot on, or that you're doing a shot, or that you're in turtle and you need to kind of think about wrestling up. So one way that we can do this is through side control escapes. So sit over here, just so that you're not in the way of the camera. So our partner is going to be in side control on us. Maybe get on side control. So very first is our positioning as the person defending on bottom. I need to have frames inside. I don't want my arms isolated away from my body. I always want my elbows and triceps and biceps connected to my body so that I can have my arms underneath. It will feel enticing as a beginner to hug somebody, but all this does is add more pressure to the person coming into you. So you don't want this. You want something as a barrier between us, a little pillow, a buffer, right? And so the further I can kind of extend my hands outward to make my arms at a 90 degree, then the better. Now I have some space to talk and breathe and all this stuff. From here, I'm going to shrimp my butt out. So the same thing that we just did before for the warm-ups, but I'm going to add a bridge so I can use the strength of my legs to create space. And then when I drop my butt and have my frame still in place, I've created even more of a buffer, even more space between us. So again, we're here, she's chest to chest with me, she's driving in. I have my frames in place, I bridge, and then I keep my frames engaged. I turn my chest towards my partner, and I shrimp away. You see now a humongous triangle of space between. I'm going to take my frame on the neck, underhook, and bring my hips away as I frame on my partner's hips. From here, I build myself up, and now we're just in front turtle. We'll pause from here. Again, I'm in side control, but I didn't allow my partner to get chest to chest or inside my arms. I got my frames in place. I don't want my arms away from my body. I want to be here. Elbows tight, frames inside. I'm pushing on her neck. I could even grab her shoulder if I want to, and I'm pushing on her hip. I bridge into my partner. I keep my frames engaged because that's what's keeping her away. If I tried to do this and I didn't use my frames, I would just be bridging, and then when I try to shrimp, she'll still be connected to me. So I have my frames, I bridge, I shrimp, I look at this huge window and I just pummel. I bring my hand inside, I post on her hip, I walk my hips away, and I get up to my knees. We can see here, if she just stood up, I could just stand up, and now we're separated. So we'll talk about what to do as the person on top, how to keep pressure, how to not let your partner just scramble away and stand up. But start at the bottom, bridge. Okay. Any questions? Gym side, lifting side. So when our partner gets up on top of us, we have two options. So we'll talk about both sides of the coin. So we're inside, we have our frames. This is a battle. We're not talking about this battle yet. But I bridge, I shrimp, I pummel my hand directly to the hip without my thumb involved. I don't want her to end up sprawling on my thumb. That will hurt very bad. So I keep my hand, I always thought like I'm feeding a horse when I would go to the petting zoo when I was a kid. Very important to not let the thumb be inside where the food is, because the horse was always said that they would eat your thumb off. So we don't want this. We don't want to get our thumb eaten. We post with a palm, and then I get myself as far away as I can, and then my elbows go to the mat, and I bring myself into this shell. So we're connected. Our knees are connected. From here, we're going to imagine that our partner makes a bad mistake and starts to hug around just our body. This is a mistake because she's not controlling my head at all. And so if I'm a wily coyote, if I'm a snake, she's got to control my head in order to control my body. So right now, she's not controlling my body because she's not controlling my head. Counterintuitively, even though it looks like she's just controlling my body, she's not controlling my body. So go back. We're here. I'm going to just post up, connect your hands, and then She will want to disconnect her hands when I sit out, but for now, just partner on top, just connect just so we feel this situation. This will happen a lot. When I sit out, my partner will want to post their hands on the mat so they don't slap their head. I'm going to post, I'm going to walk 1 foot out wide, throw that same elbow back, like I'm trying to back elbow her in the head, and then I sit and I come out the backside. So this is our full escape. We shrimp, we get to turtle, and we do a sit out. My thumb is in tight. I walk my hips as far away. My partner grabs my belly. I post to my feet and my hands. I sit out. Cool. Questions? On three. 1, 2. Start turtle. So we're here. Actually, go just like control. As my partner gets up, bring your feet this way. So, as our partner pummels to the inside here, I don't want to immediately wrap around both of her arms. This is just the wrong decision. What I'd prefer to do is kind of blade my entire body and take her back as soon as she starts to turtle. So what I'm going to do is, instead of wrapping up anything, I'm just going to take my hand and like pledge of allegiance, in this case the opposite hand, so because I'm walking towards you guys. It matters how she gets up. In the perfect world, it matters how she gets up. And so from here, I just blade my body so that my entire weight is going into the center of her back with my shoulder, and then I can start stepping through with my cross leg. This is just one version of a go behind, and then I square back up, and now I'm behind her, which is far better for me to start attacking. Okay? So we're here. She starts to come up, and the reason that I'm sprawling on this side is because if I sprawled the other way, she would still have the attack that she was going to, and she'd probably just take me down. So like, it wouldn't make sense. I'm attacking her or countering her as if she was taking a shot on me, and in this case, because she was shooting her left arm through to my hip, this is the hip she's attacking, so this is the hip I'm sprawling on here. From here, I'm just sitting my leg through, and now I'm behind my partner. Now it's safe to connect your hands behind, because I can start manipulating. I can start reaching through and taking her down, or just staying behind her and having the advantage of being behind my partner. Okay? One more time. She's down, starting to control. Thank you. As she underhooks with her left arm, I'm just pummeling my hand, keep on, to the top of her body and putting pressure. Okay, now I'm walking towards the direction I'm facing, keeping myself heavy on her as much as possible, and then I'm behind. Okay? On three. 1, 2. When my partner is getting up, it doesn't matter what side they did. It could be that they got up to turtle and it doesn't happen the magical way, the perfect way. So we just end up, we can just start with our partner in turtle on their knees and elbows. From here, I'm not reaching around my partner. I'm keeping fundamentally sound where my elbows are close to my body, and my hands are just going to kind of be on her shoulders, like into her armpits, where I could both push her away with my hands on her shoulders, or I could pull her and snap her down with my hands into her armpits. So these are really good natural grips, either in the armpits or on top of the shoulders, to stop somebody from coming towards you. When I'm here, I'm sprawled, my toes are facing one direction, my hand that's like my right shoulder is on her back, my right hand is going to pummel and frame all of my weight across the back of her neck and into this armpit. What this does is stop her from reaching at me with her right arm in this case. This is how I can keep pressure on my partner and fluidly go behind. Okay? I don't want to have to kind of jump and roll and crash and do all these things, which I would have to do if I didn't bring that arm around. If I went here and she reached out, I would have to drive into her, and then we start doing this fight, which you know, we have lots of gain from here, but this isn't what I want. She's got the ability, if she was a bigger, stronger person than me, to just throw me back down, and we're back in side control. So, go back to side control. As my partner comes up, we're here, and we're like this. Something that Lyon does really well, who's the dude that we've been training with in Toledo, is like give the person enough space to do what they feel like they want to do, just to get a better position in the long run. So as my partner comes up, to side control. A good partner realizes, a good person on top realizes when the person has got the underhook and they've framed away and all these things, to where it would be kind of silly for me now to try to keep side control when clearly it doesn't even make any physical sense to me for me to be in side control. She's not in the position of side control anymore. I would be like hugging and leaning this way, and now she's just going to come out my back, and now this is terrible, right? So if I hang on to something too long, then I risk the counter to be like way more effective. So as soon as I feel my partner escaping, I kind of back away, and now it gives me all this space to dive back into this sprawl, this go behind. Okay, they call it a backhand pass, where I'm using, get up to your knee. I'm using the back of my hand to pass behind, to go behind. Okay, so then we're here, and we can start. Okay, on through 1, 2. Build up that way. So, intro. As we hit our go behind, we sprawled, we put our chest and shoulder heavy, we went behind our partner. Okay? We're just going to talk about the fundamentals of being next to each other in turtle. Okay? So, I'm trying to reach my near arm. I'm going to take that arm and reach around her neck. Okay? I'm going to then connect my hands in what we call a gable grip. So again, my thumbs are connected to my hands. I turn them 90 degrees to each other and I just connect. Okay? So we're here, I'm shoulder to shoulder. I reach my hand through, I grab her neck. I could even palm the back of her head so that I'm able to pull her very close to me, and then I connect a gable grip. I'm going to pull her head under her as I drive my shoulders forward here. I then disconnect my hands again, and I grab her head just like a basketball. I'm going to drive my left arm as deep as possible. Technically, I kind of want my bicep to begin touching her neck, and then I'm going to grab my own bicep to my wrist. I don't want to grab with my hand if I can help it, and you should be able to help it when we're repping it, because you should be able to get your arm as deep as possible, curl it behind their neck, and then I reach and I connect my wrist into my elbow pit. From here, I'm going to switch what elbow is on the floor. So I drive just till my right elbow touches the floor. I keep my head as tight as possible, and then I start to lift my left elbow off the mat and squeeze my entire grip just like this. My old coach used to say, just bring everything into a black hole. So once you get the grip perfect, everything squeezes tight. But the grip becomes perfect once your elbow switches from left elbow to right elbow. My head stays as tight as possible, which makes my shoulder pressure as tight as possible. And then I bring my left elbow up and squeeze, and I should have a good clean finish. Okay, so this is just the fundamentals of being next to our partner. We're hip to hip. My arm goes under. I grab her head. I grab, and then I get here. I bring my hands together. I drive her onto the side. I grab the back of her head. I shoot my arm deep. Grab my own bicep. Touch my right elbow down. Make sure my head is covering the near shoulder. Like, I don't want her shoulder blade to be visible. I want to cover it. I lift my inside elbow off the floor. And I squeeze. Okay? On to 1, 2.